Hello and welcome to this amazing demonstration of e-Sandro. So just to give you a bit of background, several years ago, 35 actually, I started in this wonderful profession, and over the course of more than 3 decades, I've been putting together all of the collateral, the do's, the don'ts, the successes, the failures, and as you will probably know, put together a success masterclass. As a consequence, one of the things that we've now done is taken all of the knowledge that I've gathered over 3 decades and put them onto a platform. Now, of course, I'm pretty good in the financial services world, I like to think, but I'm certainly not the person to turn to when it comes to the matters of building this amazing platform called e-Sandro. So on this particular occasion, I defer to the very clever Sam Richter. Sam is someone I've known for a number of years, and he has partnered with me to build what you are about to see. So I'm going to hand over now to Sam, who's going to demonstrate not just the capabilities of e-Sandro and what you can do to help it build your business, but also to help you build your prospecting base for maximum success in financial services. Sam, over to you.
Thank you, Sandro. And I'm also a professional speaker, speak about 100 times a year all over the globe, and work with a lot of the major financial institutions. Sandro actually has helped me present, I think, 3 times at MDRT, Gamma Lamp, a number of the other programs. So some of you might recognize me. And my area of expertise is really figuring out relevance. How do you understand what other people care about so you're relevant in those sales calls, which really matches perfectly what Sandro teaches. So I really share with audiences, how do you find the right prospects at the right time? What's going on in their world where they might need an advisor? Get in touch with them in relevant ways. What do they care about? Sandro's expertise, obviously, is taking that information and making sure that you connect on a personal level and then walk through the engagement so you close the deal. So we've taken all of his expertise and automated that into e-Sandro. So this first section is e-Sandro. Think about it as oftentimes when you work with an expert such as Sandro, they give you access to their books. E-Sandro is access to Sandro's brain. So you can access Sandro 24/7. And think about it, we've all heard of ChatGPT. This is a custom ChatGPT. So instead of being trained on everything on the internet, it's trained on Sandro's expertise. How do you write an extraordinary letter? So you just type in what you're interested in. Can you help me write an extraordinary letter? And what eSandro is designed to be is a coach. So you can go in and you can download the extraordinary letter script, but it's also designed to coach you. And just like a business coach, it will ask you questions. So I might go in and say, I would like to really want to contact the CEO of a large local organization, establish a connection between the two of us because, like me, this CEO is very philanthropic. The goal is to introduce myself and my financial services program. Can you please write me a sample extraordinary letter? And the nice thing is it will handle misspellings because I'm not so good at misspelling. So it'll know what you mean by that. And as you can see, it walks you through the extraordinary letter template and crafts something that is relevant to both the CEO prospect and you as well. We'll show you some other tools in a little bit that also can help with this. At the end, there's always an eSandro success tip. So again, we're tapping into his brain, and if he was sitting across from you, he'd probably say something like an extraordinary letter is like a well-brewed cup of tea, strong, inviting, and leaves a lasting impression. Now, you can also use eSandro to help grow your business. Really ask it any type of question. For example, ask it questions about hiring. Maybe it's a staff reduction. Maybe it's a staff addition. Maybe it's adding new benefits, a marketing idea, whatever it might be. eSandro will have an answer for you. So I'm going to reset it. And I'm going to go in and ask it a question. I would like to hire a financial advisor for my firm. What are some of the key components I should put in that job description? And as you're interacting with eSandro, remember, this is a business coach. So it's going to give you an answer, but it will also want to engage with you. So this is a nice template, but it will also engage with you. So you can take it further. Don't just settle on one answer. This is iterative. Again, I want you to imagine that you're sitting across the table from Sandro and you're tapping into his brain. Can you please create a sample job description with your suggestions and add in all the details so I can see a full example? Let e-Sandro do the work for you. Now, with anything ChatGPT related or generative AI related, we use this to get you 85% of the way there. Don't copy it and then send it out. Copy it and revise it. What this is supposed to do is be a starter for you. So again, just like if you were sitting across the table from Sandro, you're going to take it and you're going to work on it together to come up with that final product. So eSandro, again, you could get Sandro's books. I encourage you to do it, but with eSandro, you can also tap right into his brain.
That is amazing, Sam. Thank you. As I said, you're the clever one. I'm not. Now let's move this up a level. You and I first met when I saw the amazing things that you did with a search engine, effectively, a platform that you built for yourself, which you shared with people all around the world. And you partnered with me to build something that is really unique, totally unique in financial planning. Let's see exactly what e-Sandro does in order to help us grow our prospecting base, Sam.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. What I want you to think about the prospecting engine is if you could go to Google headquarters or LinkedIn headquarters or even OpenAI, ChatGPT headquarters and say, hey, look, we love ChatGPT, we love LinkedIn, we love Google, but could you just build one just for me, just for Sandro Masterclass students? That's preposterous. Nobody would ever do that. Well, I mean, I suppose they could if you threw a few $billion at them, but that's what we've built. We've built a tool that automates a lot of the really difficult searching that you might do on Google, LinkedIn, and even on generative AIs. It's designed into a number of sections. So a section is the top level navigation. And then underneath each section, you'll find a feature. And so we have search features here to find prospects, contact information, personal intel, company intel. Let me walk you through a few of these. So let's find people by title. We can select a country. Now I'll use United States because that's where I'm based and I'm familiar with it, but it will work in any country. And I can type in a company name. Here I'll use General Mills. For some of you, you might know that this is a large food manufacturer. They make breakfast cereal, yogurt. And I can go in and search for individuals by title. And what happens is on the results page, you can click on any one of these. So who are the managers at General Mills? Who are the directors at General Mills? And when you click on any one of these, it will take you directly to the person's LinkedIn profile. So you might be saying to yourself, couldn't I have done this in LinkedIn? And the answer is sure you could have. However, what you just experienced in less than a second is the system used AI to conduct more than 600, sometimes 800 simultaneous searches. So for example, as you'll see, it finds vice presidents, SVPs, AVPs, EVPs. The system knows to look for synonyms of different words. And we can do this by a lot of different ways. I can find high net worth individual. So again, I'll select a country. I'll choose Canada and I'll type in Edmonton. I could also put in a company name or a word and a phrase, and I can even choose an age range. So let's go find people in their mid-50s. They're probably thinking about retirement, and maybe their current financial advisor isn't doing what they want. So high net worth individuals who are some C-suite executives in Edmonton. Now, you will get this once in a while. You're not in any trouble with Google or anything. What's going on is because we're running 600 to 800 word searches, Google just wants to make sure you're a human being. So who are some C-suite executives in their mid-50s in Edmonton? Who are some doctors in their mid-50s in Edmonton? Attorneys, entrepreneurs, cultural leaders, academic leaders, board members, philanthropists. Now, is this going to be every doctor in Edmonton? Every attorney in Edmonton? No, of course not. But it's enough to keep you busy for a while. Approximate age. So we can select a country again. And I'm going to go back to General Mills. And the reason I'm doing this is I had a client, a financial advisor client, and he just happened to be working with a couple of executives at General Mills. And he asked me, how do I find more of them? The people that I want to work with. This is a company with 30, 40,000 employees. So instead of just randomly reaching out to people, we want to target our prospecting. So let's find people at General Mills who are in their 40s. We can click on those job title tabs. So here would be managers at General Mills, VPs at General Mills in their 40s. Now, by the way, something to remember, this number is never accurate. Even in Google, it's not accurate. Here's what I know. I know it's more than one. I know it's fewer than 5,031. It's somewhere in between. Don't be concerned about the number. Now, but we're still getting a lot. So you might want to narrow it down a little bit. You might want to say people who are 45 at General Mills, and maybe they are in the marketing world. So now this will narrow it down even further. So we'll find marketing people, directors of marketing at General Mills who are approximately that age range. We can do an advanced search. Now, what this is really good for is relevance. I'm going to use my daughter as an example. So my daughter, Madeline, graduated from college in May of 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And she wanted to be in marketing in New York in the fashion industry. She did what all the books say you should do. She sent out more than 100 LinkedIn informational interview requests. Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm a new graduate in marketing, would like to get in the fashion industry. Could I ask for an informational interview? In the middle of COVID, people were a little busy. She got back the grand total of 0 responses. I said, Maddie, the power of relevance. Find people with something in common. Again, the whole concept of the extraordinary letter is finding something in common with the other person. People like to do business with people like them. So I said, let's go and do marketing or advertising. And we'll do New York in the fashion industry. And my daughter in college was a Zeta Tau Alpha sorority member. For those of you who don't know what a sorority is, it's groups of fraternities for men, sororities for women, groups of college kids to get together, typically their freshman year, their first year of college. They live together in the same house, and they become, in my daughter's example, a sister group. So we're looking for people in marketing or advertising in New York in the fashion industry who are also Zeta Tau Alphas. So now when Maddie reached out, now she's not just some college kid looking for an informational interview. Now she's a sister. And she wrote her extraordinary letter in her LinkedIn request. Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm a member of Zeta Tau Alpha. Can you help a sorority sister out with an informational interview? The first 4 email or LinkedIn messages she sent out, she got 4 responses. I'd be happy to help you, Maddie. She had 4 job interviews and eventually landed her dream job. That is the power of relevancy. So it could be maybe you have something in common. Maybe you are a donor to a museum. Maybe you like golf. Whatever it might be, try to find people who have something in common with you. And then centers of influence. Centers of influence, we'll just choose Malaysia, and we'll leave everything pretty blank. I'll put in job title. I'll put in founder. Search center of influence profiles. And so these would be centers of influence in Malaysia: divorce attorneys, collectible dealers, real estate agents. So again, people that probably know wealthy people in your community. So that's people search, really helping you find those LinkedIn profiles. There's almost 1 billion people with a LinkedIn profile. Help you find them way quicker than you could do on your own. Contact information. Now, this will help you find business emails, business contact information. I'll use myself as an example. All you've got to do is type in someone's name and then the company name. Mine is samrichter.com. And what this is first going to do is go out and look for a verified email address. So for example, it's going to look at publicly available membership directories, attendee lists. It's not hacking into anything. It's looking for email addresses that are already out there on the internet. And as you can see, that's my verified email address. Now, if it can't find a verified email address, what it will do is it will look at the pattern of how a company does their email and give you a guess of what it thinks the email address might be. And it might give you 2 or 3 examples. Would you like the person's phone number and address? Yes, I would. It will also go out and search for their business information, their business email, their business phone number, and their business physical address. Again, it's going to look for verified information only. If it can't find a verified phone number or a verified physical address, it will let you know. And there we go. It will also link to the contact information page on the individual's company's website. Personal intel. Now, this is really neat. What this allows us to do is learn how to best communicate with an individual. Sandro, if it's okay, I'm going to pick on you. I'll type in Sandro's name in the UK. Now, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to find the Sandro Fortes in the UK. Now, that's not a super popular name, so it will probably come back with our Sandro. But if it comes back with multiple names, then what it's going to ask you to do is select the ones that you want. And then it will go out and do some further research. So here's our friend Sandro. And just looking at it, it looks like all 4 of those are the Sandro we care about. So I'll type that in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the system's going to go out and do a very in-depth search on Sandro. It's going to look for articles where he might have been featured, websites. And the goal here is to gather hundreds of thousands of data points to figure out what's important to Sandro. And most important for us is when we're writing our extraordinary letter, what are the words we should use? How does Sandro think? What are the emotional words that he has? So it gives us a nice background, personal information, his education, some charitable donations, some of his interests, his family. Again, if it's not publicly available, it's not going to show some awards that he's won. But here's the important part. Looking at hundreds of thousands of data points, the system is going to say, basically what I've done is I built a mathematical algorithm in the background to say, if Sandro were to write his core values down, these would probably be in the top 5 or the top 10. Now, I don't know if those are exactly Sandro's core values, but I'm sure that none of them would he disagree with, and they'd probably all be in his top 10. If Sandro were to write a personal mission statement, what might it look like? Now, again, this is being built using mathematical algorithms. If Sandro were to write one, it would probably be a little bit different. But I know Sandro pretty well. I bet that it would be something like that. And then here's where it gets really neat. It runs those mathematical algorithms across a number of different personality profiles. So strength finders. What would be Sandro's strength finders? And what's important to him? And most important to us as we craft our letters, our communications, is what are some of the ways we might want to communicate with Sandro? Acknowledge his hard work, set achievable targets, vivid examples. Similar with a DISC profile, he's an influencer, therefore we should be enthusiastic and expressive. Myers-Briggs, extroverted, intuitive, feeling and judging, be genuine and thoughtful. Big 5 personality traits, use creative and stimulating language. Enneagram, be goal-oriented. Emotional intelligence, show compassion, actively listen. Colby Index, be flexible. And then what the system does is it gathers all of that information and it's saying, what are the best ways to communicate? Be enthusiastic, use stories, focus on the benefits and potential impact of your message. In our extraordinary letter, as we put in some action words, use these words. These are words that are probably going to connect with Sandro, and some of the emotional words that might connect with Sandro. You can also then type in PDF, and it will produce a PDF document of the entire profile that you can then save in your CRM system, print it out, put it in a folder. If you're going to go meet with the individual, review 5 minutes before the meeting, whether that's over Zoom like this or whether it's in person. Remind yourself, who is this person? What does he or she care about? And what are the best ways to communicate with that individual? I believe that when you go out in a meeting, especially with someone where maybe you don't have a relationship, maybe it was a referral or an introduction, pulling a personality analysis, a personal analysis on the individual will completely differentiate you from all of the other advisors, or frankly, all of the other people that have salespeople that have been calling on the individual, completely differentiate you. Because while they'll be saying things like, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? You already know what's important to the other person. Company intel. So you can run a company search. So I can say, hey, I want to work in the Philippines. I can put in a company name or an industry. You'll find me companies in the manufacturing business in the Philippines with at least 200 to 500 employees. And it will pull up those results. I can then grab the name of that company. And just to be a little bit redundant, I can go back into people search, type in the company name, and it will go find the individuals who work at that organization. You can also search by annual revenue. You can search by year founded, city, word in the company name. Lots of different ways to find companies. And just like the personal analysis, we can do a company overview. We'll use the company we were using earlier, General Mills. And what this is going to do is create a profile of this company. Again, our goal here is when we meet with somebody who works at this company, we don't walk in and say, can you tell me a little bit about what you guys do, what you folks do? You're going to have that information. And what's nice about this is, remember, it's iterative. So I can go in here and ask additional questions. So we get a historical background. What are their products and service offerings, strategic vision, value proposition, presence and growth, core audience, brand positioning, brand messaging, personality and voice, visual identity, key competitors, and even a SWOT analysis. And then what's most important, of course, is if we're meeting with an executive at General Mills, what is the language we should use? Again, as I mentioned, this is iterative, so you can ask for additional information. Now, the news search won't be as good as the news search I'll show you in a few minutes, because the news search in a generative AI program isn't always up to date. But for something like this, what it's going to look for are key news items that you can mention to your prospect, even to your existing client, in that meeting. Send them an email, congratulate them on something. You have something relevant to talk about. Again, what do they care about? What's going on in their world? The power of relevance, using that in your extraordinary letter, using that in your extraordinary meeting will help you go a long way to differentiate yourself from your competition. And most important, show your prospect, show your existing client that you care. I'm going to skip over to news since we were just talking about that. You have access to financial news. Think about this as a financial library. It's not going to search the entire internet. I've personally selected about 100 different credible and objective publications in financial services. So if you need an article to share with a client, send in an email. Instead of it coming from you, it can come from a third-party objective publication. Now, again, with everything here, we want to make sure you're following your compliance rules, but this allows you to find the information. Now, I try to put the instructions right in the different field. So if I put the word insurance in here, it's saying the word insurance must be part of the headline of the article. And so we'll go in and find those. Now, if I go in and it's looking at recent news, if I put insurance over here, it's saying the word insurance must be somewhere inside the article. And so you'll find articles from 17 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 2 hours ago, the relevant information that's going on in the financial services world. Under general news, this will search Google News and extended news. And I'll use myself as an example. So Sam Richter, speaker. If I search Google News, wait a second, I know that I've shown up more than 2 times in articles. So extended news is my own news search engine that I've developed. Well, that's more like it. The 300 or so articles I've been interviewed in, general news, press releases, blog posts, social media posts, videos, and podcasts have something interesting to say about the other person. Now we're going to go back to relevant communication. There's three really cool tools we can use here. The first one is selling to individuals. So please enter the name of my company below. So samrichter.com. So what the system is now going to do is gather information about me. Thousands of data points, tens of thousands of data points in the background, and it will provide a one-paragraph summary to make sure we have the right company. So there you can see it's got a nice paragraph on me. Now, who is the person I want to meet with? I want to meet with Sandro, and he lives in the UK. So similar to the personal analysis, it's going to go out and find the multiple Sandro Fortes, or if it's one, but it finds a number of different sources, it will provide that information. And then we can choose the Sandro Forte we're interested in. And just like personal analysis, now it's going to go out and do a full search on Sandro, gather a bunch of information, but instead of diving in and giving us a detailed personal analysis, just like before, now it's really focused on, okay, how are we going to find relevance between the two individuals? And then what is going to be the best way to communicate with them? So as you can see, it pulled up some information on Sandro, but then here's the fun part. Help me with an email message, a LinkedIn message, a phone call script, a voicemail script. We already did the extraordinary letter, so let's do a phone call script. And what the system's going to do is find relevance between what my company does and what Sandro cares about. And it will craft us a phone call script. And just as I mentioned earlier, you're not going to print this out and use it verbatim. This gets you 85% of the way there. Obviously, you're going to want to use your own experience on what works for you, but this is a really great starting point. Now, to that end, we also have selling to companies. So very similar. I won't go through this, but you type in your company, you type in your prospect company, and what you might be interested in selling them. The last one I want to show you is general communication to individuals. So this is not necessarily we want to sell something to somebody. This is we want to network. We want to meet the individual. So I'll go in and type in my name, and I could use my bio. I could use my LinkedIn profile. And notice when you're using your LinkedIn profile, make sure that you go up and copy the entire LinkedIn address, linkedin.com/in, and then whatever your profile is. It might be a number, it might be your name. I'm actually going to use my website bio. Many of you have a website bio, I'm sure, on your financial company website. So I have one. So I'm going to have it go look at my website bio. Now, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile or a bio, you can just enter information about yourself. So as you can see, it pulled up a brief biography of me. Now, all of this is going to be sitting in the background. There's hundreds of thousands of data points back there. Now we're going to go in and we want to learn a little bit about our friend Sandro. Again, this is redundant to what we've done before, but it's not like you're going to be using each one of these features back to back. So which one of these, again, just like the other tools, we want to go in and tell the system which one is the correct Sandro. And then what the system does is it will give us background on Sandro. And then what does Sandro and I have in common? What might be our communication strategy? Then I can go in and what is the goal with our message? So I'm going to say I'd like to introduce myself and network. I would like to invite Sandro for coffee. Actually, for Sandro, it would be tea. So the system then takes what it knows about me, what it knows about Sandro, and it crafts a email message, or you can use it in LinkedIn, whatever it might be, but crafts an email message that I can use that's relevant to introduce ourselves. As you can see, the opening paragraph is all about something we know that Sandro cares about, given our shared passion, mutual interest. So the whole idea here is being relevant. It's a little bit different take than on the extraordinary letter. This is much more to be used, again, when you just want to introduce yourself to somebody. You're not really looking to sell them anything. So this might be a really good one for your centers of influence, those sorts of meetings. So that's overall Sandro Forte Intel engine, the prospecting engine, your ability to go in and find the right people, make sure you're relevant to what's going on in their world. What do they care about? So what do you think, Sandro?
Sam, absolutely amazing. I only wish I'd had this sort of platform available to me when I started in this business. It would have been a very different story, Sam. As many people know, when I coach individuals across the globe, we all talk, stick to what you do best. I stick to that, and I delegate responsibility for all this amazing stuff to someone as clever as Sam. So Sam, amazing. Do take the opportunity to play around with this. If you want to subscribe, then there will be a link at the bottom of this coaching video, so you can enjoy the benefits of e-Sandro moving forward. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch, and we will attempt to help you through the process to get maximum benefit from your business. Thanks so much.